Hey, I am so excited to be doing this episode today. This is one of the special episodes that I just really want to share a little bit more about my journey and the journey thus far. I mean, if you've been listening, watching, you know that I've had a pretty interesting few years. And I definitely have seen some pretty big ups and downs. This year has been incredible. As we wrap up 2021, we're going into a really huge shift in the consciousness of the world. The global consciousness. Things are shifting. The energy is shifting. We have people tapping into their powers, and if you believe in that or not, you can feel the energy shifting. If you've noticed your technology's kind of glitching, if you notice, it just seems uniquely darker earlier. There's so many interesting shifts, and cosmically we are all shifting and we're changing inside, and we are ascending and growing in our conscious and our subconscious. So it's very interesting to be on this journey, because the last few weeks I will share some super vulnerable stuff. When you think you're healed, Louise Hayes said it best, it's like boulders. You don't know you're truly healed until you get confronted or you walk up to that boulder that's always plagued you. And do you go around it? Do you go over it? How do you handle the boulder? And that's kind of your true test. Like when life will hit you with something you thought you healed or you thought you were over, and it'll hit you when you least expect it. How do you respond? Do you react? And usually our reactions tell us pretty well how much we've healed it. And sometimes it can be really frustrating, because do you ever notice you go through a hamster wheel? You're doing the same thing over and over. You're going through this situation again. Do you ever notice how people will marry or be with the same person? It's the same personality. Let's say they're attracted to narcissists, and they go through this same vicious cycle of relationships in their friendships, maybe their business world, maybe their relationship with money. This has been coming up big time with me as I'm going to this next level. And I don't mean I'm rich. It means I'm just going into a level of financial maturity where I am financially literate, not illiterate. It's very interesting because that's just something I've struggled with. I've done well. I can always hustle and make money, but it's that cycle of I make it and it goes. And sometimes it's why do I keep, it's almost like I just throw money away, and I don't intend to throw it away. It happens to just kind of go away with no purpose. And I'm sick of that cycle. And also it's my relationship around money, and it stems from growing up very, very poor and never really seeing abundance or being talked about abundance. Now, abundance is around us. We have air, we have water, we have things. I have my health. Abundance is all around us. It's how we look at it. And we have that. But when it comes to money, a lot of our stories are tied to traumas or situations and cycles and traumas and programs. So my story today, I'm going to share a few, because obviously I have a larger version. I talked about being a phoenix today, and we really do rise out of our ashes and save ourselves. We really do, but it's not just us that saves yourself. It's not Shylo, the being you see here. It's that collective consciousness, the self inside of us, whether that be the Holy Spirit, whether that be the universe, source, or your higher power, whatever you choose to call, there is a soul inside of you. It's something other than earthly that resides in you that is really you. And this is just the vessel, right? So if you can believe that. If you don't believe it, that's okay. Bear with me, because I'm going to share some stories that you can relate with and what my journey's been. So I decided to commit to a program. It's called the Comeback Queens, and I can share it on the show because we're going to drop the link in here too. And that's really not why I'm doing this, but I'm definitely excited about it. So I do want to talk about what my new project is. And I still have my incredible business, team building and speaking and doing those things. But it's time for multiple income streams, which I've been focused on for so long. But it seems like every time I got close, sorry, I'm shaking your computer. Every time I got close to getting oh, I can have this and this, like more residual income. The key is to make money when you're sleeping. And now I have a residual income stream, but it was my sole income stream. And I have other talents that I want to highlight and showcase. That doesn't mean I want to walk away from it, because I don't. This is my main, but there are things that can be part of this umbrella of Shylo, right? And this is important for you to know too. It's okay to have multiple income streams. Don't let people tell you, oh, the jack of all trades, master of none. That's actually not true. You don't have to be a master, but you can have the knowledge of many. Okay. So you can have the mastery of one and the knowledge or intellect of many, and you're going to grow that and maybe become a master of something else on top of it. So you want to create an umbrella. And that's what I was trying to do for many years. And I hired the wrong people. I was doing things sloppy because I was desperate. I was doing like, yeah, just take care of it. And recently these old things were coming back in, like, you're being sloppy or you're not paying attention, you're going to lose all your money. And I kept getting these downloads and things being said to me, like, you're going to lose all your money. There's tons of resistance. So when you feel, resistance, when you're like, you're hesitant, you're like, oh, there's universe is showing me signs. No. Resistance isn't wrong. Resistance is your brain stopping you from and protecting you. Your brain's only job is to keep you alive. It's to keep you safe. It goes, okay, this happened before. She better retreat to save her life. And so if you've been in a pattern and you keep doing these things and your brain knows it hurts you every time, you got hurt, whether it be in relationships, with money, with business, friends, whatever it is, or physically hurt, your brain goes, don't touch the stove. You're going to get hurt because you learned once. So the same applies with getting hurt emotionally. How many times have you sabotaged a relationship because you're too afraid to see what was going to happen? Because before, the same scenario was playing out and you got hurt. How many times have you stopped from creating a relationship or building one because of a past experience? Hello, everybody. We've all done it. Our brain is designed to do this. So don't have pride and say never, because it happens to everybody. And that's how we learn and then we grow. So the money story with me was, in the past, I had hired people and I didn't communicate properly either. There's two people all the time. So the two people that were exchanging services with money, goods, whatever, there wasn't proper communication, or when there was, it came off as I was frustrated instantly because I wasn't feeling like they were holding up the bargain. And because my expectations were higher or lower, it was just uneven and balanced. But there are times where people did take advantage of me, and I found out after the fact. So I've had multiple situations where I didn't communicate properly. They were communicating in a different language, like they were speaking Japanese, and I was like over here going, I don't understand you. And I had to really hone in on my communication skills and say, hey, you need to work on your communication because it's really important. So communication is key right now. So I want to explain this as we go forward in the story. So you need to have proper communication. If it's something you need to work on, I can guide you to some people. But communication is everything in every part of our lives, like in our relationships, our marriage, in business. Proper communication makes or breaks something, proper or improper. So I wasn't having the right communication early on in my business life, and probably in my early years, but really in my business life, it was showing because I couldn't understand why a relationship would fail, but I would get frustrated and I would react or say something and lash out. So I have to watch that, because we all have that tendency to say, like, I feel like you're screwing me over. Or, you might say something that's very offensive to them, but you're saying it because you're trying to protect yourself. And you're like, I'm just hurt and I don't know why you're hurting me. But at the same time, we just keep hurting each other, right? And the worst part is when you have two reactors at the same time, or at the levels of reaction. I should say at the level of reaction, because everybody goes up. Or if people stay. So you either stay where you're at, or you ascend up and you understand, hey, that type of communication doesn't work. How can I improve that? Just depends on where you're at. And there's no wrong way. So I do encourage people to work on their communication skills every single day. And I have to every single day. And I have realizations like today where I'm like, again, what am I going through? Why do I feel this way? So I decided to invest in multiple programs for multiple businesses because I'm trying to create that umbrella, which I am created and have created with really good people that I've partnered with and people in my crew, people I trust. And the challenge of trust has come up so much in the last 3 weeks because what was happening is I put my faith and trust into somebody. And then all of a sudden I was like, what if they screw me over? Is this them screwing me over? So everything that I was seeing and not communicating, I was like, hey, what do you need me to do? And they were thinking, well, we're good. We don't need this. But the communications were getting lost. And I panicked. I truly panicked. I'll be honest. I panicked and I tried to retreat. And then I was angry and then I was crying. And then I was like, I can't get screwed over again. I can't do this. This is not my story. And it was because I had a loving person on the other end who was like, whoa, what's really going on? And it was my fear of failure. It was my fear of getting hurt. And my money story. Don't take my money. You can't take my money. I'm going to end up broke. I'll be broke forever. That's not true. But your brain is parenting. So I was allowing, instead of sitting back in it and letting it pass through me and go, what is really happening? I just allowed it to happen because I let it sit too long and I didn't communicate my feelings earlier. And that was my mistake. And then this person had some communication errors too. No big deal. That happens. We're humans. We're not going to be perfect all the time. And that's why we have to talk all the time. And so developing that communication bond and also finding people that truly have your best interests and obviously their best interests too. You have to be willing to know that, yes, they have their best interests, your best interests, but you have to understand that they also need to have their best interests. And you can't expect them to bleed for you and you to just take. And I was almost doing that. And I probably was because I was so guarded that I was like, do everything perfect for me and don't screw me over. And I'm not going to give any more than I am. Like normally I would, but I was just so guarded that I was hurting this person without knowing it. And then they were hurting me by trying to explain this. And I'm going, what do you mean? And does this sound familiar? This just happened to me multiple times. And I had to be honest with myself and go, what is going on in your money story that's bothering me? Well, I grew up very poor. I don't know why I have tears. I grew up very poor and there's nothing sad about it. I don't cry usually, but I mean, my dad's home is still standing and it's barely, it shouldn't be. I mean, when the wind blows, the curtains blow. My dad passed away and you know, my stepmom still lives there and she does her very best and she loves that home. There's nothing wrong with that. She's done a good job on fixing it up and keeping it a home. It just was really in rough condition at times. But I always loved it. But when I look at it now, it's a reminder. And when I see my mom, you know, she isn't wealthy, but she has a lot of wealth inside her heart. And my mom lives a very simple life, but also she has a beautiful home. And they work really hard. So it's just humble and it's real. Like, and sometimes when I remember how we lived before, my mom has a nice home that's hers, and takes care of it. But when we grew up, when I see my mom, I think of the struggles that she went through and that we went through, and it scares me. So when I think of what if somebody takes my money, I always think of what if I end up moving 55 times and to the same apartment and depending on other people to help me. And what if I need this? And it's just a very scary place to go when you're having a complete meltdown, which I did. So I had to change, but also it wasn't about changing my money story. Here's the cool part about today. So today, when I had my moment, what I realized after I had it, I got through it, was it's not about changing my money story anymore. It's about identifying why I keep getting hit with these emotions. And it's because I have to stand up and change my knowledge around money, my attitude around money, and the story will change. But I'm in the cycle. because I'm still not changing the knowledge around it, learning from it. I'm just allowing it to happen to me. So it's always going to feel the same until I take control, get into some financial planning, investing, and that's what I'm doing. So it's the resistance. I hope you're following. It's the resistance in me that's wanting me to change, but it's my brain saying, if you change, you could lose everything. No. If I change and get knowledge behind it, I'm only going to gain in 10 times the amount, because it's not about having debt. It's really not. People with money move money and invest money, and they have ways to always have access to money. They have good credit. They are knowledgeable in financing and how they can leverage. And I've always wanted to be that way, but I was afraid that I wasn't smart enough in the money world to do it. And I would make mistakes, or I would just do stupid things quick because I was like, I'll just do this and hopefully it works. Like, when someone's like, oh, invest $99 and you'll make this back. And well, with no work, that's not realistic. And I'm not talking about Ponzi schemes. That's a straight Ponzi scheme. I'm talking about, oh, you do this and I'll build your business for you. And it's the people who make the promises that they're going to do it for you. Well, that's not realistic. And if there is something like that, great. Message me and say, Shylo, if you invest this, you're going to make 10 times the amount doing nothing, sitting on your butt. And you don't even have to think or know what you're doing or have any knowledge. That's just not true. You have to kind of know what you're doing. Yes. And you also have to have knowledge behind it. Unless you 100% trust somebody with your funds, and that's a risk, unless you 100% trust somebody with your funds. But we need to be smarter. And I needed to be smarter. I needed to take control of my money. And I'm an abundant woman. I believe in abundance. I believe money goes in and out. It's a flow of energy and it's exchange of energy. I don't fear money, but I do have money that the story behind it that my brain tells me you're going to die if you do this. And that's not true. So identifying that today was like, where's the real story? And it's about that. So the other part that I did today was talking about the phoenix. I'm itchy. Sorry. I'm itching my shoulders. Talking about the phoenix and how so many of us are living, breathing phoenixes. How many have been through fires and completely died and burned and reincarnated, came back. I mean, in so many metaphors there, but like when I was broken, I was spiritually broken. I hadn't talked to God in so long, and I hadn't taken care of myself. So when you don't take care of yourself, everything falls apart around it. I always say your physical health and your mental health are in a marriage, and you can't have one without the other, right? So I was failing very badly. And I was super healthy. So if you looked, so I posted a picture the other day, and it was copying my stories. But that picture was 5 years old. It was 6 months before I started to spiral downward. And you wouldn't have seen what that looked like until a year later. So it took an actual full year to kind of start seeing what I was doing in my face, rosacea, in my weight, in my hair, in my everything. My skin started to look rough all over. I mean, I even had one moment. I've taken care of my skin all my life. I've never been a sun. I've been to the sun sometimes, but I mean, my chest, my daughter was feeling my chest one day. She's like, Mama, that's really rough. And I take care. I mean, I've had laser treatment. I have no shame. I've had laser treatments. I do all this stuff. I want to take care of my skin. It's important to me. And I was like, my teeth, I've just been a person since I was young who's always taken care of myself, been hygienic, been cleaned up, always made sure my teeth look white, brushed and flossed, and always wanted to make sure I was put together. Even when I wasn't put together, I looked put together. And this was the first time where I'm like, I didn't look put together and I wasn't put together and I was sick. And it's interesting to see what 2 years did after that picture. So today I was cleaning up a group I had on Facebook, and I was going to reopen it. And I was going through all these old videos, and one popped up of me. It was rough. I can't even believe I did a video like that. I wasn't even drunk. I just looked awful. I had no makeup on and I thought I could get away with it. Why? Not because you need makeup, but my face looked so awful, like the skin. And I was looking at it going, I can't even believe I did a business live like that. But I was so dead, I didn't think it mattered anymore. What really got scary for me is I had a moment where I just was gone. I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself at all. And that really scared me because I looked at my whole self and I was like, I don't know this woman anymore. There is no lack or no shred of pride left. I'm not proud of any part of me. Not any. I'm not proud of me as a mother. I'm not proud of me as a wife. I don't know why I'm here. I really did think that. Sorry, guys. I've got these little patches on my back for inflammation, for recovery. I get sometimes. And I found myself on the floor crying, saying, I don't even know how to get out of this. I don't want to be here anymore. I had a couple moments where I was ready to go. And what scares me about that is I've always known better. I've always battled those little demons at times. You know, when life gets hard, we think things, but this was real. I'm like, I really don't need to be here. And that wasn't true. But I was on the floor saying it. And I was crying and begging for help. And that's when I realized I need to ask the right person for help. And that person is the person inside me. And my higher power. And God. So slowly getting out of that was interesting. But the old Shylo was dead. Coming out of the fog and coming out of the 2 years of straight damage was interesting. To slowly watch that person come back. But again, to come back a stronger version, stronger in my faith, developing a relationship with God again, the best one I've ever had. Being proud of myself as a mother for showing my kids what you can do. Like, they've seen me transform many times, but this was the transformation of all transformations because this was a new mom. Inside, not the outside. Not I got my hair done differently. Not I lost 10 pounds. Not that wasn't the transformation. It was the transformation of a totally different person. Becoming more. And I can say that with confidence because I did. I became a person I freaking loved again. Like, I'm like, this person's fun. This person's cool. I'd hang out with this person. And we all have that inside of us. All of us. We all have that soul, source, spirit inside of us. So I think a lot of people, when I say save yourself, doesn't mean you can't have support around you. It means only you can make the decision to save you. Truly save you. Not from a physical harm or your body shutting down. That's a different story. Your body, your physical body might be dying or sick, but not the body, not the thing inside, not what's inside this vessel. You save you. And you have to stop waiting for somebody to do it. You have to stop waiting for somebody to know exactly what's going on inside to tell you what you need to do. And then you still have to make the decision. And even if they dragged you by your hands and feet, if you don't make the decision, you're not going to change it. You're not going to fix it. You have power though. There's power in that. And what all of us queens and kings and phoenixes and all of us have this ability. We have the ability to completely transform our lives, even our physical being. That's a miracle. But it starts with the decision. And you can do that. And so my realizations is, as I go into this world where I'm creating the umbrella and the multiple income streams, and I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, and it's scary because I've never seen anyone I know do it in my family circle, friends circle. And now my friend circle is getting bigger. So I have many friends who have, big income streams and multiple income streams. And it's incredible. And I want to show this to my children and teach them the way to build smart and the way to use leverage and the way to have residual income and always having money flowing in from other areas in case one area is a little slow. You don't have to panic and go, what am I going to do? I need to go get a job. No, because I have rental properties over here and I've got this business over here. Oh, and I've got, my comeback queens over here. And I'm launching a book and I'm doing this and I've got speaking events and I'm hosting a virtual summit. And think about that. It's a lot, yes. But right now it's the setting up of the platform. It's getting your structure on the concrete, not the sand, and knowing that you're building something foundationally strong that'll last a lifetime so that you can continue to add underneath the umbrella. That is you. And then getting smart with your investments so they also are constantly returning to you. And like I said, it's a flow of energy. You got to stop being so afraid of it, because I do it. I still do it. I'm being super vulnerable tonight. Like, I do this stuff. I can't even believe it. I knew better and I still was doing it. I was melting down for a couple of weeks. I was having fits and crying and then fine. And then my friends were like, you okay? Yep, transform. I've been transforming so quick. Like I realized what that is. Now I got to fix that. So I've been like, boom, boom, boom. It's instant manifestation. What's happening? I'm instantly manifesting what I want. And therefore then I freak out because I'm like, oh my God, what's this? It's already happening. So I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. Oh, it's happening. Yeah, I want to do this. Oh, that's happening. Okay, that's happening. Oh my God, how are we going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Okay, then we got to get this. Oh, holy shit. It's actually happening. And my brain's going, no. You can't do this. We don't know what this is. We don't know what any of that is. This isn't familiar. Abort. Your brain is awesome, but it can really hurt you. Like, abort. No. When you feel that resistance, when you feel that resistance, push back or allow it to take over. Either way, feel it, but don't stop. Don't push and go, I'm done. And there's no resistance coming back. When you push, you know what resistance is when you push and it's pushing back? Push through it. Push through it. Because on the other side is everything you want. And how many times, I want you to think about this, where you go, gosh, I wish I would have done that. What stopped you? Oh, I was a little scared. I thought I was going to fail. Okay. So you're going to do it again? Probably a lot. Think about the decisions we make that are small that we still do it with. Start being aware of resistance. That's the challenge to me. Because I had a lot of eye openers this week, last week, and the week before, because my money story is changing and it's evolving. And that doesn't mean I'm the most smart person with money. I'm not. I'm learning. I'm learning to get better. But I'm expanding myself to create an umbrella for everybody in my life and to never have to worry like, hey, you know what? Money's down this month over here. That's okay. I'll drive from here because I have this over here. And I've got great credit because I handle everything properly and I have people that help me and I'm learning every single day. And I've got people weekly helping me and saying, hey, what is this? We got to go over this. Why don't you put this here? Why don't you draw the funds from here? Because for tax reasons. And it starts small though. So start small. But we got to change our relationship with money or our story around it. And then it will grow. And you'll be unlimited abundance because we are surrounded by abundance. There's no reason to be afraid. Fear comes in because of old things, programs, laws that aren't real. They're not true. They're made by people in fear. So we just need to have everything set up so we can be prepared for whatever happens in the world. And that we know that no matter what, we can draw from a place, this place, or we have assets, we're liquid, whatever it is. We need to know those terms and we need to understand them. So for all y'all who like me, who are learning this, it might be overwhelming, but you'll get there. You can get connected to people. So I'll drop the links to the Comeback Queens. Hop in there. You can get connected to some incredible people. It's all different types of entrepreneurs and masters of their craft in all areas, finances, real estate, anything you can think of. Multi-level marketing people. You've got investors and you've got small business owners and high-level entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 people, all of them ready to communicate and be a part of that community and network with you. And then also some big things we're doing to transform all areas of our lives. So I'm really excited about that too.